The phone vibrated against my nightstand at 12:03 a.m. I grabbed it, heart pounding, and saw the name on the screen. Ms. Ava Hart, Maya's homeroom teacher at Riverbend Academy. Teachers don't call parents at midnight unless something terrible has happened. Mrs. Brooks. Her voice was barely a whisper. I need you to listen carefully. There's a secret disciplinary panel meeting right now. They're about to vote to expel Maya for plagiarism and give her merit scholarship to a donor's child. It's happening by morning. My stomach dropped like I'd stepped off a cliff. Maya hadn't plagiarized anything. She'd worked on that essay for weeks. I'd watched her research, draft, and revise every single word. That's impossible, I managed to say, throwing off my covers. I know, Ava said quickly. That's why I'm calling. If you want the truth, meet me at the East Gate in 15 minutes, before they erase it. The line went dead. I stared at my phone, hands shaking. Then I grabbed my coat, shoved my feet into shoes and ran for the door. My keys rattled in my trembling fingers as I started the car. I drove through empty streets, my mind racing faster than the car. At a red light, I called Colin, Maya's father. We'd been divorced for 2 years, but he still had a right to know. He answered on the first ring. I heard something, don't make a scene. I froze. The way he said it, so quick, so ready, he already knew. My chest tightened with a feeling I couldn't name yet. Hurt. Betrayal. Something worse. You heard what? I asked, keeping my voice steady. Just, don't make this worse for Maya, Elena. Let the school handle it. I hung up without responding. In the rearview mirror, I saw my own reflection. Eyes rimmed red from interrupted sleep, jaw clenched, but something else too. Determination. As I pulled up to Riverbend Academy, my headlights caught something that made my blood run cold. A black sedan sat near the east gate, engine running, lights off. Someone was watching. 3****. I parked and stepped into the cold night air. The academy loomed dark against the sky, except for a few lit windows on the second floor. My breath came out in white puffs as I approached the gate. Elena! Ava's voice came from the shadows. She stepped forward, her teacher's lanyard swinging around her neck, a folded printout clutched in her hand. What's going on? I whispered. She handed me the papers. I squinted at them in the dim light from a nearby street lamp. It was an email thread. Principal Mark Alden. Donor Liaison Marissa Lang. Subject: Midnight Review Confidential. My eyes scanned the messages. Words jumped out. Timestamp discrepancy, family IP address, scholarship reassignment. They tampered with the upload logs, Ava said. Maya's essay wasn't plagiarized. Someone made it look like she cheated. Before I could respond, footsteps echoed across the parking lot. A flashlight beam slashed through the darkness, heading straight toward us. Ms. Hart, a male voice called out. Ava grabbed my arm. It's okay, she whispered. That's Mr. Ortiz. The security officer approached, lowering his flashlight when he recognized Ava. He was older, maybe 60, with tired eyes that had seen too much. You shouldn't be here this late, he said, but his tone wasn't harsh. Mr. Ortiz, Ava said carefully. What happened with the security cameras tonight? He glanced around, then sighed. Nolan Reed, the IT director, he came by around 11. Said he needed to do maintenance. Disabled the whole system. He checked his watch. I can give you 10 minutes before I have to do my rounds again. Why are you helping us? I asked. His expression hardened. Because I saw Mr. Reed in the media lab earlier with something that looked like a thumb drive. And because I've got a granddaughter at this school too. He paused. But I'm warning you, Reed's not alone tonight. Ava led me through a side entrance using her teacher's keycard. The hallways felt different at night. Darker, colder, full of shadows that seemed to move. We headed toward the tech lab on the 3rd floor. How did you find out about all this? I asked as we climbed the stairs. I stay late grading sometimes, she said. Tonight I saw lights in the principal's office when there shouldn't have been any. I got curious. She paused outside the tech lab door. Elena, what I'm about to show you, it's bad. She used another teacher's login. Someone who'd left their credentials with her for emergencies. The server logs loaded on the screen. and she navigated to Maya's student folder. There it was. The essay file flagged for plagiarism. Upload timestamp. 2:47 a.m., 3 days ago. Source IP address. My home network. That's impossible, I breathed. Maya was asleep at 2:47 a.m. We both were. Then I remembered something. The router notifications on my phone. Random alerts about remote access attempts over the past week. I'd assumed it was a glitch. A notification suddenly popped up on the screen. Read connected. Remote session active. We need to go. Now, Ava hissed, closing the browser. We hurried into the hallway, but it was too late. Voices echoed from the stairwell. Male voices. Coming closer. I came to help. That was Colin's voice, fake concern dripping from every word. Ava pulled me behind a corner just as two figures emerged. Colin and Principal Alden, walking together like old friends. They passed under a hallway light, and I saw Alden clap Colin on the shoulder. I came to help, Colin repeated, louder now, as if he knew we might be listening. Ava's eyes met mine and I saw something flicker there, recognition. I saw them on the CCTV feed earlier, she whispered. Before Reed disabled it. They were already here together at 11:30. My hands shook as I pulled out my phone and snapped a photo of their reflection in the display case glass. Time-stamped, geotagged, undeniable. Down the hall, a door opened. Low voices drifted out. I caught fragments. Vote. D'honneur condition non-disclosure. The disciplinary panel. They were still meeting. Ava grabbed my hand and pulled me into a supply closet. Through the crack in the door, I could see into a conference room across the hall. 5 people sat around a table, school board members I vaguely recognized from fundraisers. Principal Alden stood at the head of the table, arms crossed. We need to protect the Academy's reputation. If word gets out that we allowed plagiarism to go unpunished, especially from a scholarship student. The replacement scholar is already arranged, a woman's voice said. Marissa Lang, the donor liaison. Sienna Lang. Her family has committed to a substantial endowment if we handle this quietly. My breath caught. Sienna Lang. The donor's daughter. What about the parents? One board member asked. The Brooks family won't just accept this. They'll sign NDAs, Alden said smoothly. We'll offer a settlement. Private school recommendation letters. It'll be handled. I'd heard enough. My phone was still in my hand, recording everything. But then the worst possible thing happened. It buzzed. Loud. A text notification from Colin. Where are you? Every head in that conference room turned toward our closet. I stepped out before they could come looking. My heart hammered against my ribs, but I kept my voice steady and cold. I've already filed a complaint with the State Board of Education, I announced. Complete with evidence of timestamp tampering and IP address fraud. It was a bluff. I hadn't filed anything yet. But their faces went pale, and that told me everything I needed to know. Principal Alden recovered first, forcing a smile. Mrs. Brooks, this is a closed session. This session is over, I interrupted. Unless you want the state investigators to arrive while you're still voting on fabricated charges. The board members looked at each other nervously. One cleared his throat. Perhaps we should postpone. No, Marissa Lang said sharply. We proceed as planned. We postpone, Alden said, overriding her. His jaw was tight. We'll reconvene at 8 a.m. for a preliminary review. Mrs. Brooks, you're welcome to present your evidence then. I nodded once, turned, and walked away. I heard Ava's footsteps behind me. We didn't speak until we were back outside. You bought us time, she said. 6 hours. 6 hours to find proof, I replied, or lose everything. Back in my car, Ava pulled up her phone. There's a student who might help. Liam Torres. He's in Maya's AP history class. A few days ago he mentioned seeing something strange near the lockers. Sienna's mother with a USB drive. Where is he? I asked. Campus housing, building C. We drove across the quiet campus. The dorm was dark except for emergency exit lights. Ava used her teacher's access to get us inside, and we climbed to the 3rd floor. Room 314. Liam Torres's name was on the door. I knocked. No answer. Knocked again. Nothing. Ava tried the handle. Unlocked. We pushed the door open slowly. The room was empty. The bed was made, desk cleared. On the pillow sat a handwritten note. Taken home. Family emergency. They got to him, I said, feeling the hope drain from my chest. Ava picked up the note, examining it. This handwriting isn't Liam's. I've graded his essays. She pulled out her phone. I have his parents' contact info from the school directory. We drove to the address on file, a townhouse 15 minutes from campus. It was nearly 2 a.m., but a light was on inside. I rang the doorbell. A man in his 40s answered, cautious. Can I help you, Mr. Torres? I'm Elena Brooks, Maya's mother. This is Ms. Hart. We need to speak with Liam. It's urgent. Liam's asleep. It's the middle of the night. Please, I said. Maya's being expelled for something she didn't do. Liam saw something that could help prove her innocence. Mr. Torres's expression softened slightly. Maya. She tutored Liam last semester before finals, didn't she? Helped him pass calculus. Yes, I said, grasping at the connection. She did. He sighed and opened the door wider. Wait here. A few minutes later, a teenage boy appeared in pajama pants and a hoodie, rubbing his eyes. When he saw us, he looked terrified. It's okay, Liam, Ava said gently. We just need to know what you saw. His voice was barely audible. I took a Snapchat video. Mr. Reed was by the media lab, and he had this weird plug-in thing. He kept looking around like he didn't want anyone to see. I thought it was funny at the time, so I recorded it. Can you send it to me? I asked, holding out my phone. He nodded and pulled out his own phone. A moment later, mine buzed. The video loaded, grainy, but clear enough. Nolan Reed, glancing over his shoulder, inserting a small device into a port on the wall. But something was wrong. I checked the timestamp. 3:47 a.m. yesterday. But the daylight in the background didn't match. It had to be a time zone error. Liam, I said carefully. Was your phone set to the right time when you took this? He shook his head. I just got back from visiting my uncle in California. I forgot to switch the time zone back. Back in the car, I called the one person I knew who could make sense of this technical mess. My cousin Priya Rao worked as a digital forensics analyst for a cybersecurity firm. She answered on the third ring, groggy. Elena? It's 2 a.m. I need your help. Now. I explained everything as fast as I could. The scholarship, the plagiarism accusation, the tampered files, Liam's video. Send me everything, she said, suddenly alert. I need the original files. Don't email them, it could alter metadata. Use a secure file transfer. Following her instructions, I uploaded the video and screenshots from the server logs. Ava did the same with the email thread she'd printed. Okay, Priya said after a few minutes. I'm seeing it. The essay file shows a UTC timestamp, but it's been manually converted to look like local time. Amateur hour. Whoever did this knows just enough to be dangerous, but not enough to cover their tracks properly. Can you prove it was tampered with? I asked. Already done. The metadata hash values don't match. This file was definitely modified after its original upload. My phone buzzed with an incoming text. Colin. Come home now, Elena. I can fix this if you stop. I showed it to Ava. Her expression hardened. He's not trying to help, she said. He's trying to control you. Ava's phone suddenly lit up with an email notification. She read it, and I watched the color drain from her face. What is it? I asked. They suspended me. Her voice was hollow. Effective immediately. Pending review of professional conduct violations. She handed me her phone. The email was from Principal Alden, timestamped 1:47 a.m. Right after we'd left the conference room. They're punishing you for helping me, I said, guilt twisting in my stomach. No. Ava's jaw set with determination. They're trying to silence me. Earlier today, well, yesterday now, Marissa Lang pulled me aside. She said if I signed a statement confirming Maya's plagiarism, she'd recommend me for department head. Full tenure track. You refused. Of course I refused. And now this. She tried to use her keycard to access her faculty email on her phone. Access denied. They've locked me out of everything. I reached over and squeezed her hand. Then we do this together. They want to make you a liability? We'll make you a witness. She nodded, but I could see the fear in her eyes. She just put her entire career on the line for a student, and a parent she barely knew. My phone buzzed again. Priya. Evidence package is ready. But Elena, you need to get this officially on record. If they claim it's fabricated, everything falls apart. The donor breakfast, Ava said suddenly. It's this morning at the Harborview Hilton. Marissa Lang always oversees it personally. I checked the time. 3:15 a.m., that's in a few hours. If we can get inside, maybe we can find more evidence. Paper trails, contracts, anything that proves the scholarship was conditional. It was risky, but we were running out of time. At 5:30 a.m., we pulled up to the Harborview Hilton service entrance. The early catering staff was just arriving. Ava spotted someone she knew. Noah, a former student who'd graduated 2 years ago and now worked part-time at the hotel. Ms. Hart. He looked surprised to see her. What are you doing here? Noah, I need a favor. A big one. He hesitated, then nodded. You helped me pass English when everyone else had given up on me. What do you need? Just 5 minutes inside. That's all. He glanced around, then handed her an extra catering vest. Stay quiet. Stay quick. And if anyone asks, you're new. We slipped inside through the kitchen. The ballroom was being set up for the breakfast. White tablecloths, floral arrangements, place cards with donor names. And there, in the corner, Marissa Lang stood with Nolan Reed, speaking in urgent whispers. I stayed behind a rolling cart of dishes, phone out, recording. Their voices carried just enough. Midnight drafts need to be wiped, Marissa was saying. If the state board gets involved. Already on it, Reed interrupted. The server backups will be clean by morning. What about the teacher? Hart. Suspended. She can't access anything now. Marissa's eyes narrowed. And the mother? Colin says he can handle her. My blood ran cold. Colin was actively working with them. Marissa moved toward the head table, and I saw my chance. A USB drive sat on the table runner among scattered papers, probably loaded with presentation files for the breakfast. I grabbed it and shoved it into my pocket. Hey, a security guard spotted me. You're not authorized to be in here. I ran. Ava was right behind me. We burst through the service entrance as shouts followed us. Noah gave us a guilty, worried look, but we didn't stop to apologize. In the parking lot, someone yelled, "Check her bag." But we were already in my car, tires squealing as I pulled away. Please tell me that was worth it, Ava said, breathing hard. I pulled out the USB drive and plugged it into my phone using an adapter. It asked for a password. No, I muttered, trying a few obvious combinations. Nothing worked. I called Priya again. I've got a USB, but it's password protected. Can you crack it? Maybe. What kind of files are visible? I checked the directory preview. Foundation conditions, publication _rights_draft, scholarship _stipulations. It's definitely what you need, Priya said. But yes, I can crack it with the right hint. Think about what matters most to the donor. What would they use as a password? I looked at Ava. What do you know about Sienna Lang? Besides the fact that her family's trying to buy her a scholarship. Ava thought for a moment. She's into horses. Competitive riding. She's got trophies all over her locker. Won some regional championship last year. Horse names. I suggested. Her favorite was Marigold. She wrote an essay about that horse last semester. I texted the name to Priya. Try Marigold. And variations. 2 agonizing minutes passed. Then, I'm in. Priya sent me the decrypted files. I opened them on my phone. Ava reading over my shoulder. Contracts. Dozens of them. Draft agreements between the Lang Foundation and Riverbend Academy. The scholarship wasn't just a donation. It came with strings. Publicity requirements. Public acknowledgement in the school's promotional materials. Writes to publish Sienna's winning essay in Foundation newsletters. And emails. Principal Alden pushing back initially, then gradually caving under pressure from the board. Marissa Lang making it clear, no publicity, no funding. But Maya's essay had won on merit. Fair and square. So they'd had to manufacture a reason to disqualify her. This is it, Ava breathed. This proves everything. Not yet, I said, remembering Priya's earlier warning. We need to get this officially on record. If we just show up with a stolen USB, they'll claim it's inadmissible evidence. Or worse, that we fabricated it. I pulled up the State Board of Education's website and found the emergency complaint portal. My hands shook as I filled out the form. Uploaded hashed versions of all the files. The emails, the video, the contracts, the metadata reports Priya had generated. I hit submit at 6:12 a.m. A case number appeared on the screen. Official. Documented. Time stamped by the state. Ava simultaneously submitted a whistleblower disclosure through the teachers' union portal. My phone buzzed. A notification from the school. Preliminary review moved to 6:30 a.m. They'd moved it up. We had 18 minutes. We raced back to campus. The sun was just starting to rise, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. My phone rang. Colin. Elena, where are you? His voice was strained. We need to talk. I'm on my way to the review. Don't do this. I can fix everything. I can talk to Marissa. You're working with them, I said flatly. I know, Colin. Silence. Then. It's not what you think. The Lang Foundation was going to give me a huge architecture contract. Design their new headquarters. It's worth millions, Elena. I just had to smooth things over with the scholarship situation. I thought it wouldn't really hurt Maya. She's smart. She'll get another scholarship. I was so angry I could barely speak. You sold out your own daughter. I was thinking about her future. That contract would have set up her college fund. Pull over, I told Ava. She parked in the faculty lot. Colin's car was already there, parked 2 spaces away. He got out, walking toward us. I touched my smartwatch, activating the voice recorder. Then I stepped out to face him. Say that again, I said. About the Lang Foundation contract. He didn't notice my hand position. Elena, be reasonable. Marissa promised me the deal if I could keep you from making trouble. I talked to Nolan about the technical side. Nolan Reed? The IT director? Yeah. I just asked him to make it look like Maya had cheated. Nothing major. Just enough to disqualify her so Sienna could. He lunged for my phone, finally realizing what I was doing. But I stepped back smoothly, the recording already auto-synced to the cloud. You're recording this, Colin said, his face going white. You can't. That's not legal. It's completely legal, I replied calmly. Georgia's a one-party consent state. And you just confessed to conspiracy to commit fraud and defamation of a minor. He grabbed for my phone anyway, but I was already walking past him toward the administration building. Ava stayed between us, her expression fierce. My phone buzzed. Ava's too. Text from an unknown number. State observer en route. ETA 45 minutes. Interstate accident Cousin de lait. So we'd have outside oversight, eventually. But the review was starting in 5 minutes. Another notification popped up. A school-wide email from Principal Alden. Recent concerns about unauthorized recordings and potential deepfake videos. Any evidence not verified through official channels will be considered inadmissible. He's getting ahead of it, Ava said. Trying to discredit everything before we even present it. Then we'd better be convincing, I replied. We entered the conference room at 6:29 a.m. The same board members from the midnight meeting looked tired and irritated. Principal Alden sat at the head of the table, Marissa Lang beside him. A lawyer I didn't recognize sat in the corner, taking notes. Mrs. Brooks, Alden said with false warmth. Please have a seat. Principal Alden began with a presentation on his laptop. Slides showing Maya's essay, highlighted portions marked as similar to online sources. Server logs, doctored ones, showing late-night uploads. He painted a picture of a desperate student cutting corners. Furthermore, he said. Mrs. Brooks herself has been engaging in harassment of school staff and unauthorized access to campus facilities. Her behavior raises serious questions about the family's integrity. My turn. I stood up and laid everything on the table. Printed copies of the chain of custody packet Priya had prepared. The USB file index. Screenshots of Liam's video, with metadata visible. A transcript of Colin's parking lot confession. Time-stamped and verified. The board members leaned forward reading, murmuring, glancing at each other. These files clearly show tampering with the original upload logs, I said. The IP address was spoofed. The timestamps were manually altered. And there's documented evidence of collusion between school administration and donor representatives to manufacture plagiarism charges. Alden's lawyer stood up. Your Honor, members of the board, we have concerns about the authenticity of these materials. The video in particular appears to have been manipulated. AI-generated deepfake technology makes it trivially easy to. It's not a deepfake, I interrupted. We have a forensic analyst standing by who can verify. A cousin who conveniently provides technical expertise? The lawyer smiled thinly. How impartial. The board members looked uncertain now, doubt creeping in. My phone buzzed. Priya's name appeared. I answered on speaker before anyone could object. This is Priya Rao, certified digital forensics analyst with Henderson Security Group, she announced professionally. I'm calling to address questions about video authenticity. She walked through the technical details with perfect clarity, metadata hash values, compression artifacts, frame consistency analysis. She explained why the deepfake claim was impossible. The video predated the current generation of AI tools and showed none of the telltale signs of synthetic media. Furthermore, she continued, I can provide sworn testimony and lab reports verifying every piece of digital evidence Mrs. Brooks submitted, all of which has been logged with the State Board of Education under case number 2024-1547. The board members were nodding now. The lawyer sat down, expression tight. Then the door burst open. Marissa Lang strode in with her own attorney. This proceeding is over. The Lang Foundation is withdrawing all support from Riverbend Academy if these baseless accusations continue. We're talking about $15 million in funding. Actually, a new voice said from the doorway. This proceeding is just beginning. A woman in a state education department blazer walked in, showing her credentials. I'm the state observer assigned to this case. Sorry I'm late. There was an accident on I-85. But I'm here now, and I'm invoking emergency oversight authority. The state observer, her badge said Inspector Williams, took a seat at the table. This session will continue under state supervision. All parties will have the opportunity to present evidence and testimony. She looked at Marissa Lang. Ms. Lang, while I understand you represent a generous donor, financial threats during an active investigation are inappropriate. Please sit down. Marissa's face flushed with anger, but she sat. Inspector Williams turned to Principal Alden. Let's start with the IT director. Mr. Reed, I believe? I'd like him here to answer questions about the server logs. Alden shifted uncomfortably. He's not on campus today. Actually, I saw his car in the lot, Ava said quietly. 5 minutes later, Nolan Reed sat at the table, looking like he wanted to be anywhere else. Inspector Williams laid out the evidence systematically. The disabled security cameras, the remote access logs, the timestamp discrepancies. Mr. Reed, she said, did you alter the upload timestamp on student Maya Brooks's essay file? I was told it was a routine security audit. Did you alter the file? Yes or no? His voice cracked. Yes. But I was under pressure. Principal Alden and Ms. Lang said it was necessary to protect the school's reputation. They said Maya had actually plagiarized, and we just needed to document it properly. That's enough, Alden snapped, standing up. Sit down, Mr. Alden, Inspector Williams said coldly. We're not finished. The confession changed everything. Inspector Williams called for a recess while she reviewed all the evidence with her team. An hour later, the panel reconvened. Based on the testimony and evidence presented, she announced, the following actions are effective immediately. Ms. Ava Hart is reinstated to her position with full back pay. The plagiarism charges against Maya Brooks are dismissed. The merit scholarship will be frozen pending a fair and transparent review process. Principal Mark Alden is suspended pending a full investigation into administrative misconduct. Relief flooded through me. Maya was cleared. Publicly. Officially. But then Colin appeared in the doorway, his face twisted with anger. "Do you realize what you've done?" He hissed at me. "The Lang Foundation just pulled their contract. My firm is losing the biggest deal we've ever had. We're going to lose the house, Elena." "The house?" Every head turned to look at him. Inspector Williams raised an eyebrow. "I'm sorry, who are you?" "Colin Brooks. Maya's father. And this woman just destroyed our family's financial security to prove a point." I stood up slowly, keeping my voice level. "I saved our daughter from being expelled for something she didn't do." Colin wouldn't let it go. He followed me into the hallway after the hearing, voice rising. "You're so proud of yourself. You think you're the hero. But you just made everything worse." I stopped and turned to face him. "Here's what's going to happen. I'm filing for legal separation. I'm also reporting your involvement in this scheme to the State Bar Association, since conspiracy to defraud an educational institution is a crime. However," I held up a hand as he started to protest, "if you cooperate fully with the investigation and make restitution to the school, I won't push for criminal charges." It wasn't vengeance. It was boundaries. Clear, firm, non-negotiable boundaries. "You're bluffing," he said, but his voice wavered. "I'm not. But I'm also not cruel. You're Maya's father. She deserves to have a relationship with you, if you can earn it back. The choice is yours." He stared at me for a long moment. Then he shook his head and walked away, phone already to his ear, calling someone I couldn't see. I let him go. I'd said what needed to be said. Ava found me in the hallway a few minutes later. "The board is calling an emergency session for tonight. They're talking about policy reforms, donor oversight, transparency requirements." "Good," I said. "That's a start." The next few weeks moved fast. News spread through the parent community like wildfire. Other families came forward with stories of administrative pressure and questionable decisions. The Lang Foundation, facing public scrutiny, withdrew its conditional funding requirements and issued a statement about supporting merit-based education. A student-parent committee formed to redesign the scholarship criteria. Maya's essay was republished in the school newspaper, the real version, with her name properly credited. She won the scholarship again, this time with complete transparency. Ava Hart returned to her classroom to a standing ovation from her students. The school board offered her the department head position, the same one they'd tried to bribe her with. She accepted, on her own terms. Colin did cooperate with the investigation. He lost the Lang Foundation contract, but he kept his license. He and Maya started having weekly dinners. Slowly, carefully, they were rebuilding something. As for me, I couldn't go back to normal. Too many parents had reached out, asking for help with their own school crises, asking how to fight back when the system seemed rigged against their kids. So I started something new. ClearPath Parents, a consulting service helping families navigate educational disputes. My first clients were two mothers whose children faced similar situations. Word of mouth brought more. 6 months later, I sat in my small office downtown, reviewing case files. Maya was thriving at Riverbend. She'd even joined the student advocacy committee. Ava and I had coffee every Thursday, swapping stories about the latest school board drama. My phone lit up at 12:01 a.m. I almost ignored it. Midnight calls still made my heart race. But then I saw the name, Ms. Hart. I answered. "Ava? Everything okay?" "Everything's fine," she said. And I could hear the smile in her voice. "I'm calling because the State Education Board is hosting a forum on academic integrity next month. They want someone to keynote. Someone who understands what it's like to fight for the truth." "You'd be perfect," I said. "They don't want me. They want you." I looked out my window at the dark city. 6 months ago, a midnight call had meant crisis and fear. Now it meant possibility. "I'll do it," I said. When I hung up, I sat in the quiet darkness for a moment. That terrible night. The panic, the scrambling, the desperate race against time. It hadn't just been about saving Maya's scholarship. It had been about refusing to let injustice win. About standing up even when the system was rigged against you. The midnight call had changed everything. It had cost me my marriage, my peace of mind, countless hours of sleep. But it had also shown me who I really was. Not just a mother. Not just a protector. But someone who could help others find their way through the darkness too. I smiled into the quiet night and got back to work.